Aaron was halfway inside a boat engine when he heard someone clear their throat behind him. He didn't look up immediately. Experience had taught him that engines responded poorly to sudden movements, emotional arguments, and people watching too closely. "All right," he muttered, tightening a bolt. "You can glare at me all you want, but making that noise is not a valid mechanical complaint." The engine answered by refusing to start. Aaron sighed. "See, now we're both being stubborn." He slid out from beneath the open panel of the fishing boat and wiped his hands on a cloth before finally turning around. Someone was standing at the edge of the dock. A woman. Except she was not standing quite like anyone Aaron had ever seen before. Her posture was too balanced, too still, like gravity had politely asked her permission before pulling downward. Aaron squinted. "Well," he said cautiously, "good afternoon." The woman did not answer. She was staring at him, not the polite kind of staring either. The kind where someone looks at you like you've just appeared in the middle of a scientific mystery. Aaron glanced behind him. The dock was empty. He pointed at himself. "Just checking, is the staring directed at me?" Still no response. The woman slowly stepped closer. Up close she looked even stranger. Her skin carried a faint pale blue shimmer that shifted under the harbor lights. Long translucent strands flowed behind her head instead of hair, drifting slightly even though there was no wind. And her silver eyes held tiny rotating shapes that moved like quiet machines. Aaron tilted his head. "That's new." The woman raised one hand slightly. Aaron felt a faint pressure in the air, like the moment before static electricity snaps. He looked down at his arms. "Okay." The pressure faded. The woman's eyes widened. She took one step closer. Aaron lifted both hands. "Before anything dramatic happens," he said quickly, "I'd like to confirm I am currently cooperating." The woman did not seem to hear him. Instead, she whispered quietly, almost to herself, "Impossible." Aaron blinked. "That's usually the reaction I get when I try to fix old engines." The woman stared directly into his face now. Her eyes flickered slightly as if invisible data were passing through them. Aaron shifted awkwardly. "Just to clarify," he said, "is this some kind of advanced airport security scan?" The woman whispered again. "No." Aaron scratched the back of his neck. "Well, that sounds encouraging." She stepped even closer. Her voice came out softer this time. "Human." Aaron pointed again at himself. "Still me." She continued staring. Then she spoke slowly, each word careful. "You died 10 years ago." Aaron paused. He thought about that for a moment. Then he nodded thoughtfully. "Well," he said, "that would definitely explain why my back hurts every morning." The woman did not laugh. Her eyes remained fixed on him. Aaron cleared his throat. "Look," he said gently, "I don't want to contradict your records, but I'm fairly confident I would remember dying." Her gaze sharpened. "You were present during the temporal collapse event." Aaron frowned slightly. "That sounds like something I should remember." She took a slow breath. "Our archives confirm your death." Aaron leaned back against the railing of the dock. "Well," he said calmly, "this is awkward." He looked out at the quiet ocean for a moment, then back at her. "So either your records are wrong." He paused. "Or I missed a very important part of my own life story." Aaron leaned against the railing of the dock and watched the strange woman carefully. She was still staring at him like he had personally offended the laws of physics. "Well," he said after a moment, "this is usually the part where someone explains why I'm not supposed to exist." The woman lifted her hand again. Aaron felt the same faint pressure in the air as before, like invisible currents moving around him. Small flickers of light passed across her silver eyes. Aaron glanced around. "Just so we're clear," he said, "if that scan explodes something, I'd really prefer it not to be me." The pressure faded again. The woman looked more confused than before. "That is not possible." Aaron sighed. "That's the second time you've said that, and it's starting to feel personal." She stepped closer and studied his face again. "You were present in Earth orbit 10 years ago." Aaron frowned slightly. "Orbit?" "Yes." Aaron scratched his head. "That's interesting. Because 10 years ago I was very busy doing absolutely nothing impressive. The woman's eyes flickered again. Our archives show you were aboard a civilian shuttle. Aaron froze for half a second. Okay. The woman leaned forward slightly. You remember. Aaron rubbed the back of his neck. I remember something. The ocean behind him moved quietly under the night sky, while he tried to sort through memories that suddenly felt blurry. I remember a contract job, he said slowly, repairing satellites. The woman nodded. That shuttle entered a restricted orbital zone. Aaron tilted his head. That sounds like something a contractor might accidentally do. The zone contained an experimental device. Aaron raised a finger. Let me guess. He looked at her carefully. Alien experiment. Yes. Aaron nodded slowly. Well, that feels like an important detail someone forgot to mention at the time. She continued. The device malfunctioned. Aaron squinted at her. Define malfunction. It caused a temporal collapse event. Aaron blinked. That sounds expensive. The woman's voice remained calm. The anomaly created overlapping timelines around Earth's orbit. Aaron leaned against the railing again. Right. He nodded slowly. Of course it did. The woman continued scanning him silently. Our records show the shuttle was destroyed instantly. Aaron crossed his arms. And that's where I died. Yes. Aaron thought about that for a moment. Then he sighed. You know what the weird part is? The woman looked at him. I do remember something happening that day. He stared out over the water again. There was a flash. Yes. And for a second everything felt wrong. The woman leaned forward slightly. Explain. Aaron shrugged, like time paused. He tapped his fingers against the railing. Not stopped exactly. He looked back at her, more like it couldn't decide what to do next. The woman's eyes widened slightly. Aaron continued. I remember seeing something strange. What? Aaron hesitated. Multiple versions of the same moment. The woman did not move. Aaron frowned. I thought I imagined it. What did you see? Aaron rubbed his forehead. Different versions of me. Silence spread across the dock. Aaron slowly looked back at her. Don't tell me that's the part you were hoping I'd say. The woman whispered quietly. That confirms it. Aaron blinked. Confirms what? She looked directly into his eyes. You did die. Aaron sighed. Yes, we've established that part. She continued, but not only once. Aaron paused. That sentence sounds extremely suspicious. Aaron looked at the alien woman for several seconds without speaking. All right, he said slowly. I'm going to need that sentence explained again, preferably with fewer existential implications. The woman stood still, her strange silver eyes quietly processing information. You did die, she repeated. Aaron rubbed his forehead. Yes, I heard that part. The confusing section was the asterisk multiple times asterisk. She folded her hands together. When the temporal collapse event occurred, space-time fractured. Aaron nodded once. That sounds bad. It created overlapping timelines. Aaron leaned back against the dock railing again. I'm starting to feel like this story involves too many timelines. She continued calmly. In most cases, individuals caught inside such anomalies are erased. Good to know. But you were not erased. Aaron pointed at himself, clearly. You were duplicated. Aaron paused. Duplicated. Yes. He stared at the water for a moment while the idea slowly moved through his brain. Just so we're clear, he said carefully, are we talking about identical twin levels of duplication, or the kind where reality accidentally makes a lot of copies of something? Multiple copies. Aaron nodded. That's what I was afraid of. The alien woman continued speaking in the same calm tone. The anomaly created several parallel timelines. Aaron raised a finger. I don't like where this is going. In each timeline, a version of you survived. Aaron blinked, though. He thought about that. Then he sighed, so there are other me's. Yes. Running around different realities. Yes. Aaron nodded slowly. Well, that explains something. What? I've always had the feeling I was forgetting something important. The alien woman watched him closely. You are only one fragment. Aaron pointed at himself again. Fragment. Yes. Of me. Yes. He scratched the back of his neck. That is extremely rude of the universe. She continued. Each version of you carries a portion of the anomaly's temporal structure. Aaron blinked. That sentence was dangerously scientific. It means each of you holds part of the equation that stabilized the collapse. Aaron stared at her. I'm part of an equation. Yes. He sighed. I was hoping to be something simpler, like a mechanic. The alien woman looked out toward the dark ocean for a moment before speaking again. There is more. Aaron immediately frowned. There is always more. The fragments are connected. Aaron slowly turned back toward her. Connected how? Across timelines. Aaron rubbed his face. Okay. He took a deep breath. So somewhere out there are other versions of me. Yes. And somehow we're all part of the same cosmic math problem. Yes. Aaron nodded slowly. That's manageable. The alien woman tilted her head slightly. You do not appear alarmed. Aaron shrugged. Look, 10 minutes ago you told me I died 10 years ago. Yes. This situation is already operating above my panic capacity. She studied him quietly. Aaron looked up at the stars. You know the really weird part. What? Sometimes I have dreams. The alien woman immediately focused on him again. What kind? Aaron frowned slightly. Places I've never been. Explain. Different skies. He pointed upward. Stars that aren't there. She leaned closer. What else? Aaron hesitated. Different lives. Silence stretched between them. Aaron looked back at her. Don't tell me those are memories. The alien woman answered quietly. They are. Aaron exhaled slowly. Well, he muttered, that's going to make sleeping extremely complicated. She watched him carefully. You are experiencing timeline echoes. Aaron nodded. Of course I am. He folded his arms. Let me guess. She waited. The other versions of me are also alive. Yes. Aaron sighed. And someone out there probably wants to collect us like trading cards. The alien woman's expression darkened slightly. Yes. Aaron stared at her. I was joking. Aaron stared at the alien woman for a long moment. All right, he said finally. I feel like we reached the part of the story where things become extremely unfair. She watched him quietly. You are referring to the hunters. Yes. Aaron leaned back against the railing again and looked out over the dark water. Because when someone says powerful forces across the galaxy want to collect alternate versions of me, that usually means my life expectancy just dropped dramatically. The alien woman stepped closer. They are searching for the fragments. Aaron nodded slowly. Of course they are. He rubbed his chin. You said something earlier. What? That the fragments are connected. Yes. Aaron tapped his temple. And that the dreams I've been having are actually echoes from the other versions of me. Yes. Aaron sighed. Well, that explains the one where I was apparently flying a ship through a storm made of purple lightning. The alien woman froze. You saw that? Aaron blinked. Yes. Her silver eyes flickered rapidly. That version of you exists. Aaron paused. That sentence is doing emotional damage. She continued. There are many fragments. Aaron nodded. I'm guessing none of them had a peaceful life either. No. Aaron exhaled slowly. So eventually those hunters are going to find us. Yes. And when they do, they'll try to merge the fragments. Yes. Aaron looked back at her. Because if all the pieces come together, you would become something new. Aaron raised an eyebrow. That sounds suspiciously like a supervillain origin story. The alien woman shook her head. Not necessarily. Aaron crossed his arms. Then what? She hesitated. A temporal anchor. Aaron blinked. That sounds worse. You would exist across timelines simultaneously. Aaron stared at her, meaning. You could move through collapsing timelines. Aaron leaned back and laughed softly. Well, he said, that's definitely above my current skill level. The alien woman studied him carefully. You are not afraid. Aaron thought about that. Then he shrugged. 10 years ago, I apparently died in a cosmic accident. Yes. And now I find out there are other versions of me scattered across reality. Yes. He gestured toward the sky. At this point, being hunted by time-controlling space civilizations feels like a logical next step. The alien woman tilted her head slightly. You adapt quickly. Aaron smiled faintly. I fix broken machines for a living. He pointed toward the ocean. You learn pretty fast that panicking doesn't help. Silence stretched between them. Aaron looked up at the stars. Somewhere out there in other timelines, other versions of him were living different lives. Pilots, explorers, survivors of the same cosmic accident, and apparently they were all connected. Aaron rubbed the back of his neck. You know the strange part. What? For years, I felt like something about my life didn't quite make sense. He looked at her. Now I know why. The alien woman spoke quietly. You are part of something larger. Aaron nodded slowly. Yeah. He looked back toward the quiet water again. Well, he said thoughtfully, if the universe accidentally made several copies of me. He shrugged. It probably expects us to do something about it. The alien woman studied him carefully. You intend to find the others. Aaron smiled slightly. I intend to understand what happened. He pushed himself away from the railing and looked up at the stars